Some Christians seem to build lasting and authentic friendships that bring joy, support, fun, and even brotherhood into their lives. But why aren't you? They aren't cooler or better than you are, and they don't just have better luck. They just have figured something out that you haven't yet. Let me tell you what that is. Here are 5 things keeping you from real and authentic Christian community. Number 1, you see people at your church or in your classes or in any sort of group, and they seem to hang out together outside of the normal gatherings you're at. They tend to laugh together, have serious conversations, enjoy each other's company, and just do life together. Then you call them a clique, you move away from that group, and you start to feel sorry for yourself. We've all done this. I definitely have, and wanted to give up on the whole community thing and building lasting friendships because you see other people do it seemingly so effortlessly and you just can't find it. But now I have begun to realize that you need to stop blaming others. It's not the clique's fault. It's not the friend group's fault. They have the same interests. They work well together. Why wouldn't they become close? Why wouldn't they want to hang out with each other? It's actually quite natural. In fact, there's probably a part of you that wants to be in a group like this where you really feel like you belong. But how do you find that? Well, that leads us to point number 2. Now that you realize it is not wrong for other people to have found what you still want, you need to figure out how you can get there. How is it possible that some people will open up to others and share their hurts and issues and be that comfortable with someone, and yet no one opens up to you, no one tells you what they're going through, even though you know you can add a lot and you know you can help others? But still, no one has reached out to you. This second point may seem a lot simpler than you think, and that is, you can't just wait for it to happen to you. Yeah, sure, some amazing friendships happen by accident, but you can't just wait for that. Some of the strongest Christian relationships I have come from intentionally reaching out. And I know that can be really awkward, but that leads us to the next point, because if you don't do this, it's pretty much pointless to try and build any sort of friendship. Number 3, when you look at strong Christian relationships, they usually have something in common, and they usually aren't stable on accident. You may get to know someone, have fun talking and hanging out, but you struggle to get past that superficial level. And here's your solution. You need to start building community through discipleship. In short, you need to fulfill the Great Commission. Jesus told his disciples in his last words that they should go forth and make disciples. And the main verb there actually is to be making disciples. It is implied that wherever you are and whoever you are around, you're actually working towards this deeper level of relationship through building disciples and creating followers that are more like Jesus. Just look at the Gospels and how Jesus treated his followers and the people that were closest to him. And look at Paul and his letters to Timothy and the relationship they had through discipleship. Both of these examples are of men who built these strong relationships and who were extremely loyal to one another. But you can't influence people positively unless you are able to do this next thing. Imagine you are trying to connect with a new group of people. Let's say a church, a college, or a new job, and you reach out to someone. Maybe you meet up, hang out, or just see each other around. And your conversation never moves past, hey, how are you? Or what have you been up to lately? The thing is, you cannot connect deeply with someone because they do not know who you are and what you actually care about. So, what you need to do is stop being so closed off. Instead, be authentic and open. You cannot build deep brotherhood unless you are building trust with people, and those people are building trust with you. You need to share what you care about, and you need to show them what makes you tick and bring what you have to the table. And I will tell you right now, you will not connect deeply with others if you are worried about what the world is thinking, about what others are thinking. As a Christian, I am worried about pleasing God and not man. I'm not living just for myself. And that means I can't be scared that other people are going to see what I do, how I act, how I treat people, and think it is cringy. You need to grow in your walk with Christ so that you start to live for what's coming after this life and not just for the short little time we have here on earth. When you start to do this, you may struggle to deny yourself. Your old lifestyle or your current lifestyle and views may be getting in the way. And that leads us to the final point for this. Even a Christian who is still caught up in the world is going to struggle making meaningful, deep relationships with other serious Christians. And if you are the serious Christian in this sense, you may struggle to make strong friendships or relationships with those who are less serious than you, which is why the final point is your opinions are too loud. You are called to live according to a higher calling or purpose, and that means your life is not your own. If your strong and wavering opinions are what are keeping you from real Christian community, then you need to re-examine yourself. You need to look at the life of Christ more closely and see how he treated others and the way he loved and served his disciples and followers. Look at how Jesus's disciples and followers became more godly by being around him. We shouldn't give up on our opinions, but we should make our opinions more like his. In fact, our other opinions that really are keeping us from this community should melt before the word of God, which is Jesus. We should begin to love serving others, and we will truly find that Christian brotherhood or community we're looking for. If you work on these 5 things, I promise you will find the Christian community you've been longing for.